Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the last day of the New Earth Summit. I am Darryl D'Souza, the convener, and my thanks goes out to all of the panelists who gave their valuable time and their experience and their techniques. They shared it with us every day of the New Earth Summit from 1st of November to 30th of November. And this was the same what happened last year. We had online webinars because of the pandemic and lockdown situation. So, but we were able to connect more panelists on board because in 2019 we had just one or two panelists, presenting live in Goa. That happened in 2019. So we had about 30 or 35 experts who presented their solutions for our problems in health, food, farming, and environment. That's the main theme of the New Earth Summit. And then the second year, last year, we had over 100 panelists. And this year also very, very close to that. So once again, my thanks to all of them, and they will remain connected with us. In the chat box, I just shared the link of our new Telegram group, Earth Keepers Connect. And there are the links of our website, earthkeepersconnect.org. On that website, you will see what is the meaning of an earth keeper. What are the things and activities they get into? What is their commitment? Why, what are they keeping on the earth? Today, I will just briefly go through that. Then the next link you will get is of our Facebook group, Earth Keepers Connect. And if you want any more links to the rest of my work or organic markets and all of that, and my Facebook groups that I've made for doctors, healers, and therapists to collaborate, that those groups have been there since 2012. So they are all on my website, darryldesouza.com. So today's program is that first I will just take you all through a very brief flow of what we have gone through in this summit, starting first with the current situation problem, and then what we have seen as resolutions to all of our problems, and the way forward to manifesting what I call pockets of new earth. So we are these webinars are open and they are free because it's like an open source platform where people can pick up ideas from our experts, implement it themselves, bring feedback, give us good ideas. And so today is a session where all of the audience and the panelists also gets to give us some good feedback. But as I know, some of you have missed some of the sessions or not been able to attend the sessions in between because of some reason. So that's the reason I will just take you to a flow, and it'll even be good for those of you, who have got bits and parts of the whole puzzle and the solution. So a quick run through will give you an update, and I think I'll take about 15 minutes for that. I'll start with that now, and then after that, since it's fresh in your mind, I would really like all of your inputs, ideas, and how we can take this forward, step by step, that I will explain some suggested steps and what else you want to innovate and include. And, then especially how we can take this model, implement it in our village, city, our states, and all across the country. Now, this is a global model, so it can be done anywhere across the globe. So I'm starting with the flow right from where we are in the world right now, dealing with all of these problems that have manifested, whether it is life on land that is 15 that is come in danger, or life in water that is come in danger, or 13 which is the climate crisis. Then we have like number one, poverty problems across the world, hunger, water shortages, and quality of education. Yeah, even it seems that after all our innovation in the world, we still don't have the proper education. It is obvious, right? What are we teaching all our children and what is coming out of our institutions? If all that has taught been taught so far is manifesting these 17 problems. So I will take you into a brief journey of how these 17 problems came, uh, and how do we deal with it now. So we're starting a little ahead in time where uh, maybe a few hundred years back, 300, 400, 500, maybe 1,000 years back, where we had what was called self-sufficient communities or indigenous people anywhere across the globe. They all had their own settlements and they survived and they had, good life and healthy life with good immunity. And they had the education and the whole societal structure to make their own food, to have their own homes, to have their own arts and culture and medicine system, everything. And they were self-sufficient in their places. Um, and so many varied races, right? So obviously, all of these different people who had never seen each other in their lives before and were living on different continents, the science was so simple of how to have a self-sufficient and healthy life. So what actually happened after that? We had in the what is called the modern civilization where certain groups of people, mainly in the West, they decided they want to make a different structure in society. And on the right hand side is you could see different territories across the globe where they traveled and they could see that there were these different communities. And communities would have been there if they were self-sufficient. If they could not, take care of themselves, they would have dwindled off, and so, like some civilizations earlier, have been wiped out across the planet. So the fact being that they found some communities that were doing fine, but these smart people did not want to work hard or toil or just get into that community and have a life. They wanted to uh, trade between these different communities. So that's where the idea of travel and trading and moving goods from one place to another came about. Now, the first question is why would you want to trade and move goods from one place to another when at the starting you had communities that were self sufficient? And from a health perspective, we know that your health is the best when you eat local food, when you live in tune with nature, when you use building materials that are from your land. And so all of that was what we call now very low or zero carbon footprint. But these smart people, we can call them capitalists, who started the banking system. And in one of my previous presentations, I spoke a little more in detail of how the trading happened, and from that they instead of people exchanging gold, they converted gold into money. And that on the left hand side, you see all of these factories for all of these locomotives and cars and trains and planes. All of that came about just because these people could not leave the communities in their own places to do their own thing. So anyway, they decided to make money of trading and moving things around the planet. So all these machines came in. So that's where probably 200 years back, the carbon footprint of this planet started increasing every year. And besides that, they would have their own formulations of products that only they could make because people already had their self-sufficient products in their places. That's how they were surviving. But here, with money and with innovation, in the name of innovation, new products were made that could not be made by the villagers, and these were marketed all over the place. So people started buying these. Now you could say from normal fresh food, it became packaged food products. And then a lot of sciences of gadgets and things that were there naturally earlier, but they made more mechanized forms of it, more of mining, more of metal to be used. That is when the earth, they started digging holes in the earth, of course, to make objects, to make machines, to make travel vehicles, and then to feed those vehicles with petrol. So that's where the slow plundering of the earth started. And unfortunately, In the name of progress, this is what are the sciences that were taught in all of these universities all across the globe. So obviously, with a lot of money and a lot of publicity, a lot of printing, a lot of advertisements, people began to think that this is the modern world. And finally, over this period of 200 years, we have come to this place where we are all living in what we call concrete jungles, which are which are cut off all the natural five elements from our body, and we are living artificial lives. That's why we're falling very sick in these places with artificial food, artificial medicine, no nature around us. And so, how could this be done? Okay, and why was this done? Now you can get people into a concentrated place only once because you can give them enough of water. So for that, this whole the next disaster system of the world, damming of the rivers started, because you could only make a big city if you choked up water somewhere of a river, and you could supply that water to these concentrated cities where you made all your products and your innovations, and you declared that this is the place that we are going to develop as a complex and modern civilization. Now, by choking water, dried up the water that was going downstream of the river, where there were villages and villagers and civilization. And slowly, when the water dried up, all of these civilizations started getting drought, loss of all of their crops, and barren land. And so, obviously, people need to eat food and they want to multiply, have children, and all of that. So, when nothing happens, there's no water and no fertility in their land, they obviously go back to those cities. So that's how the people who were spread across the land, who had their own land, were actually conned into getting into these concentrated zones that were formulated by these capitalists and industrialists and so-called modern innovators. And through their money system, this is what was manifested, and that's the beginning of the rich and the poor, right? Because the people who were living downstream of the rivers, when the water was there, they didn't need anything from anybody. They had their food, they had their homes, all of their life was complete. But by choking off the water, they brought them into poverty, and that's where the starting of the haves and the have-nots came. And this is like a pyramid that you can see with money right on top, and with the capitalists right on top, with most of the money paying for arms, ammunition, funding the kings, funding armies. And this is the result of that entire scheme. So we are back over here, and in our cities, our food, our natural food is very far from our cities, because like you saw in this picture, there's no place to grow food. So that's when the long food supply chain came in between. And since your food is far off, the entire packaged food industries, along with all its chemicals and all, came into our lives. And it replaced normal fresh food. As people started getting sick with that, and they did not have their own land where they could grow their own herbs and medicines, that's when people slowly were drifting away from traditional medicine. And all of the people who were brought into these cities, they could not grow medicines around their place. So a medicine system was made by these capitalists and the different structures of organizations to not even cure, but manage all of the illnesses of these people. Because even through this medicine system on the right, they never cured them of illnesses over the last 130 years, but they just kept on taking money from them and just blocking their symptoms. So that's how this entire pyramid got richer and richer at the top. And now that whole industry is called the big pharma mafia, who have conned the whole world right now into a non-existent kind of sickness. But of course, people are experiencing the symptoms, but the stated reason is something else. A lot of other toxicities in the world that you will understand in more detail if you go to the awakenindiamovement.com website and read a document called The Truth of the Scamdemic, and another document called Scientific Evidence of the Pandemic. So, and So this model, what it created is an unnecessary amount of food packaging, transporting the food, making all these vehicles for this, and creating too much of a work system where people, they could not choose to uh, get into some natural work like villagers do, and at a workplace very close to them. They started working for this machine that started making all of this modern civilization. A lot of transport, a lot of stressful timings, a lot of stress at work. And well, this is the state of many people in cities as they get from bad to worse. And not only has it made people sick, but this entire model has dug up and used up so much of the non-renewable resources on the planet to an extent that we do not have enough of oil, enough of coal, and enough of sand to make all these packaged food products or white goods or whatever consumption happens in the cities, which is mostly coming from non-renewable resources. So we don't have another future of another 25 years also on the planet with this model. And every place that this model is exposed to is slowly turning into this. And people are leaving the cities and coming to the countryside, unfortunately, with the same idea of development. And they are also starting to make these same structures in the countryside. So this is the biggest danger to the planet right now, and how can we stop it? So that's where we are now, and also all of this heat and the machines around this planet creating a lot of heat, melting the glaciers. You can see it in that movie. Just Google up chasing ice and you'll be able to see the proof of it. And that's why all the melting of this ice is increasing the sea level and flooding the rivers. So we are again having climatic catastrophes. So which was not actually happening earlier. So much of this heat and this climate change in the world has come from a model of concentrating people in these mechanized cities that are really, the destructive part of civilization. Now, people are good intention and they will just, do everything that they need to for their own life. But if you have been put in a machine that's already been made earlier, then all that you can do is be part of the machine. And because you need food, you have to do some work in that machine to get your food and stay and wealth and goods and whatever you need. So that is how we have finally come to this place. And how do we get out of this? So that's what I'm going to share in a few slides. It's all what has evolved now through our different presentations, through the summit, through all of our speakers. And it definitely takes a new mindset of people because you cannot solve the problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. So if you're looking for your big institutions and your governments and your big think tanks to fix this problem that we are in right now, that's not going to happen. So there are people, and I consider everybody an earth keeper, a person who understands how we have destroyed the earth in a very scientific way, and then has realized through education throughout their lives or through their own experience or getting out of bad habits and coming into better habits, they have realized that there is an organic way to stop this damage and rebuild the earth into what we are calling new earth. And so all of our panelists on the New Earth Summit are those kind of people in their different domains of wellness of mind, body, spirit, then food, farming, environment, sustainability, green economy, circular economy. So it's we who have to go forward. So towards the end of this presentation, and even at the starting, I gave you a group which is Earth Keepers Connect. So we have to connect, and that's Earth Keepers Connect is a noun as well as a verb. So Earth Keepers Connect is a place that you will get connected to these right kind of people who are going to rebuild Earth. And connect means that the act of connecting. Now there are already people across the world who have this energy and science and this vibe. And all that we have to do is, play the right music, talk the right talks, and put out the energy. And all of those people, it's like the Pied Piper. So you can call me a kind of a Pied Piper. And this is my third year, and the New Earth Summit is the pipe. That's that's playing the music. Of course, that music is not just my own. It is the 200 plus Earth Keepers who have been presenting over the last 3 years in this summit. And of course, it's also being done by people in many other places on the ground, online, across the world. So we are all out to make something that is more organic, that is more localized, because this is the model that took us earlier through the indigenous communities. It took us for 10,000 years, and this new capitalist innovation model has that is corrupted, has destroyed the earth within just 200 years to a point where we have no future. So we'll just get into a little bit of what I shared. Now, one of the main steps is water, that we need to release those waters from those dams. Why? Because anyway, the people in the cities, the metro cities are getting sick, and they are migrating slowly. All the sensible ones, at least, they are migrating towards the villages and greener places. That's why so many people are leaving other cities and coming to Goa, for example. Um, Now, of course, those dams, you don't just have to open them up. There is a proper way of maybe 10% every year, something like that, or 5% every year. But it has to go hand in glove with what you're doing in the downstream. So it can be done in a very constructive way. But we have to know that if we want life back in the spread out across the terrains, and then the rivers have to start flowing again, and we have to slowly start opening up the dams. So whether it's in India or in other countries, that is a necessary part of the process. And I shared this model before. I'm not going to go into detail, but it's an amazing model with that has got just 5 kilometers by 5 kilometers. It can be done on a green field, or you can remodel your current village that is semi-occupied also in this model. Basically, it is 6,000 plus acres with just ground floor homes, because that's an important thing. When you do ground floor homes, you can make it of all natural materials, like the stone available on that land, the mud available, lime, and other binding materials. And wood and all of that, you already know that can be used. And the key is that in your community or the space, you grow more trees than you consume. So then trees become a renewable resource. And the other aspect of this is when the communities of this size, which can house about 50,000 people, everything that you need in life, you get in just a 15 minutes or 20 minutes walk. Okay, so whether it's your education, whether it's your job, whether it's recreation, food, all of that within just 15, 20 minutes, meaning that you do not need vehicles at all. So that is a big, positive, where anyway the doctor tells you got to walk, 20 minutes twice a day or half an hour twice a day. So that is healthy for you. So this is a very healthy design that will keep your health well, and ground floor homes giving you more time, reasons to get in and out of the house, walk bare feet, drink, well water, get sunlight, grow your own food, all of those amazing opportunities in that. And the second last line you can see, uh, after taking all the habitable land in India, this ground floor model with a house, with a 4 bedroom villa house and 500 square meters around it of nice land. Uh, with that model, you can have double the amount of population in this country. So that is 3.44 billion. And although the last line is showing that this earth can take 126 billion, I think maybe there is some miscalculation in that, or but definitely I know the earth can take at least 20 billion people with this very low carbon footprint home. And it's a complete lie what's going on around the world now in the United Nations, and all of they think that the 8 billion is too much for this planet to take. So if you get into the science and calculations of it, you will see that it's a complete lie. So this is what I shared, just a model that we've developed, and I'm going to implement this in Goa in a smaller scale, even on thousands, square acres. In fact, people are trying to do such communities in even 300 acres or even 200 acres. But this model of 50,000 people that I just showed on the previous page, that requires about 6,000 acres. And as I showed you on the top, there are in blue, there are the water bodies, then the farm, then the food forest, organic markets, animal shelter for manure. And on the periphery, the blocks that you see are all different kinds of industries, manufacturing industries, all of natural materials. The yellow blocks in between are your education center, research center, your music dance center. White in the middle is your community center, which is like a spiritual center where everybody communes. And all those blacks in between are all your homes. So people who are more with the woodwork manufacturing, like if it's on the pink blocks on the left, then those people stay on that side. And it's probably 10 minutes walk to their workplace. Then on the right side, it's 10 minutes to the shopping center. And then it's 15 minutes to your, the main part of the community center. So the need to do this is because, of course, this is going to be a wonderful, beautiful, amazing life. And if you don't have, the river or a pond or a lake, you have to learn how to do rainwater harvesting. And that's also what we covered on the summit. Building natural homes, rainwater harvesting, recycling gray and black water, so that it does not even go into the ground aquifer to pollute your well water. It gets recirculated in a biological way and starts feeding your plants around your house. So as you go through the videos of the New Earth Summit, you'll see many amazing sciences that are the utmost need of the hour right now. And especially the gray and black water recycling system. I think every villa, every home on this planet needs to have it. And also every society, even Captain Joseph Lobo in Goa, who made this system, he did it for 1,500 flats complex as well. So it's of an industrial size too. Finally, whether we try to do it as a very natural greenfield project where you get the land and you can design all of this like I had shown on the previous slide, or uh, where of course then you get your food security back, you're growing your own food, you can make your own medicines. uh, that's that's what we were all covering in the New Earth Summit: wellness of mind, body, and spirit, different healing modalities, herbal medicine, or food as medicine, energy medicine, and integrative natural medicine. I'll show you a slide about that, which I had not presented during the summit, but I presented at the BRICS Nation online conference. Um, So there's a wonderful model that I've been working on since the last 8 years, and it is for it's an integrative mind, body, spirit medicine that brings in all of this. So diagnosis of mind, body, spirit, and healing also of mind, body, spirit. So on the left hand side is uh, allopathy. So the we are trying to merge some aspects of modern medicine that are fine and negate certain aspects that are not working at all. So the left hand side is allopathy, for example. So what are we using in this integrative system? That's combining allopathy with uh, alternative medicine, complementary medicine, or the ancient healing sciences, like you can say yoga and all of that. So there's a merger between these systems. So on the left side of allopathy is mainly some of the diagnostics, not like mammograms, because those are shown to uh, make cancer spread even faster between the cells. But instead of that, thermographs. Right now, because we are in the crux of the crisis on the planet just because of this. And so this merger is between certain useful aspects of the modern medicine, which is diagnostics, psychological evaluation, for example, and then on the right hand side, alternative medicine, uh, where this is using for physical therapy like acupressure, acupuncture, marma therapy, and yoga, body work, all of that. So on the right hand side, you see acupressure and all, which symbolizes the physical aspect of diagnosis. Then the mental aspect of mind, which is could have counselors, and then there is energy medicine, which is like Reiki or pranic healing or quantum scanning machines. So the first aspect is diagnosis. Then the second aspect is treatment. So from the allopathy side, what kind of treatment? It's only for acute trauma. That is for when you're dealing with a fracture or such intense pain that you need to have a painkiller that the person is going to faint. Then certain emergency supplements. For example, a person is so low on nutrients that they are not able to manage body parameters. So they give intravenous supplements maybe for a day or two. That's so it's all emergency medicine on the left hand side. Surgery is also emergency medicine. Oxygen cylinders, of course, for a certain amount of time, if it's required, then you can use that. So mainly in treatment on allopathy side, it is emergency medicine. But what is the permanent medicine that reverses your illness and cures you from problems? It is natural medicine, whether it is herbs or so many other things, then mental counseling, therapy, and the application of energy medicine for healing. So first top block is on diagnosis of mind, body, spirit, and then there is healing of mind, body, spirit. And every person can go through this at a wellness center, which is called an integrative natural medicine center. So the benefit of this modern system is that it's evidence based diagnostics, a lot of sort of scientific documentation of the state of illness, then proof of healing, and then it's really verified that certain things work, certain things don't work. And on the right hand side, the benefit of natural medicine is all the healing sciences are actually curative in nature. So much of it is preventive medicine, like eating the right kind of diet or having the right kind of knowledge, what not to do and what not to eat. And the other benefit, it is, non-invasive. Of course, invasive and surgery only comes when you fail to do healing through natural methods, or if it's an emergency. That means there are such big kidney, gallbladder stones stuck in a person that they are vomiting continuously and they cannot eat. So maybe at that time, if a natural therapy is not going to work in a few hours, then maybe a pinhole surgery is required. So again, talking of allopathy and surgery only as emergency medicine and not the regular healing. So this is the merger, and every person goes through a diagnosis of mind, body, spirit therapist, and also an MBBS doctor, and then the healing protocol is given in an integrated way. Now, taking my case for example, I suffered for 14 years from skin disorders and skin, stomach disorders and skin allergies. And it is only after 14 years that a couple of components that came in actually cured my entire system within 6 months. So that was acupressure and detoxifying my blood with certain herbs. Otherwise, before that, I had tried so many things, the allopathy for so many years, Ayurveda, homeopathy, even energy medicine, and all of that, which didn't work. So that's the biggest mistake we are making now in the world, trying parts, certain parts of medicine. Either it's working on the mind, or it's working on the body, or it's working on the spirit, but it's not working on all three at the same time. So when you do a diagnosis of mind, body, spirit, you get a full assessment of a person from all dimensions, and then you sit with experts and who will make an integrated protocol. And all such integrated protocols, I've seen the person gets cured within 3 months. So this is what we need to do now in the future of medicine, and that's why the topics in the summit of integrative natural medicine, decentralized medicine system. Decentralized means you can do these at small centers. This is my own house that I converted into a wellness center in 2015 in Goa, and I was the only therapist first, and then through cross reference, people would already come in with their entire allopathic diagnosis of scans and so many things. So that work was already done. Then I would work as a physical therapist and give them diet, nutrition, acupressure, detox, sun yoga, and all of those things. And then when I saw the profile of a person and I felt they needed some mental counseling or some energy work, I would call in the counselor, the energy work person, either to my place or the client would go to their place. So I've been actually practicing this since 2015. And then a little later, when I got a bigger property in Goa, I started doing it at a different place. And there we expanded our work into providing organic food and doing organic markets and doing hosting experts on water harvesting and water treatment and natural homes and all of that. Then when the pandemic came, I had to shut down my center, and I'm looking forward to opening it. So all the topics of the New Earth Summit are the topics that should be happening at these integrative natural medicine centers. So they should not only be a center for healing people, but also for educating. So that's the model I had proposed in Goa of integrative natural medicine wellness centers all across the state. That is being wellness centers plus having big halls for education also. Because so much of medicine is about educating people how not to fall sick. That's the bigger job. So finally, we covered all of these topics also on the summit, um, helping people understand what is unhealthy food, moving to healthy food, how to grow your own food, where are the organic food markets, this food supply chain, how it was created, and why it does not need to exist anymore. If we go as per this model that I was talking about. Okay, so our food does not have to spend time in trucks and planes and trains. It just has to come off the farm and into our plates within a few hours. And of course, the principles that were talked about here were eat local, organic and seasonal, and whole foods. So when you watch the all the topics of the New Earth Summit, they are very deep education on all the things that need to be, which are not as yet. That's why we are, living sick lives, so the planet is getting destroyed. So uh, here, I'm sure some of you would have attended some of these. The recordings of all the this year's summit webinars will start going out from tomorrow morning. That is 2 recordings every day. So by 15 December, we will have put all of them on our YouTube channel. So I request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the New Earth Summit, and yes, you will get it on the New Earth Summit, website. You get our YouTube channel link. So that's through all of these sciences, we are trying to build natural homes, natural products that can happen in these communities. Now, there are 3 types of these communities, which I'll come to. One is greenfield, one is brownfield village, one is brownfield city. So I'll just take one slide on those. There are n number of products. I mean, everything that you use in your house can be made from plants. So and like I mentioned, if you're growing more plants than you are using, then plants are a renewable resource. And you stop completely. The moment you switch out from that kind of a life into an organic life, then you switch off completely that entire machine that is damaging the earth. And so I'm sure that people who are more conscientious will take the decision of moving to natural places, going back to their village, and all of that. And people who have got some, some limitations will take some time to move out of cities. But we all need to know that every day that we are living in cities, it is a cost to the earth. So this is a Google map of the place that I'm sitting in right now. It's in Goa, Kalangut, North Goa. So you have the sea on the left, and then there's the sea is coming into 2 small rivulets there. One is called Nerul, one is called the Mandovi River, and in these places also certain amount of greening amount and so many aspects of the New Earth Summit can be implemented here. So these places can still be saved, but we need to understand that no more concrete buildings in these places, because concrete and steel and all is all making holes in the earth and taking up non-renewable resources. Then finally, for the city also, we have got certain improvements, and this is what another panelist, Chandra Vikas, had presented a couple of times. I'll just show a few slides. That is reducing amount of roads and moving from a car culture to a cycle culture, or pollution free battery vehicles and all of that. This is the what can be done in existing cities, which are called brownfields. uh, so uh, by reducing the number of roads and traffic, you can create more space for growing food. And of course, that also comes with all your system of waste segregation, and then also recycling, upcycling, or downcycling waste. Of course, the most important thing, even prior to this, is not creating the waste. And as long as you sit in the in the metro cities, you are compelled to buy at least some amount of all of this packaging material that creates garbage on the planet. So people are doing their best efforts, but still, the city model by itself is you can't escape that. So this is what we are working on right now in the New Earth Summit. That is every one second. Every state needs to have its own committees which will do this work of you know and this work has to be done in every state. For example, that's the next picture. In every state you'll have some area that is part of it is concrete buildings, then part of it is certain structures in your village which are congested areas, and then you'll have complete bare land which is called green field. So these are the committees in your state that need to work on all these three aspects of the state. So in the green field, and the idea is slowly to migrate people from the concrete jungles into a greenfield project. Why? Because the greenfield is that perfect design that will last for the next 2,500 years. And after that, of course, we'll have different housing systems itself. So, so that's the most important thing. We need to get those people who do not want a toxic life and to be in that rat race and to have all that pollution and stress. We need to them to transition to a complete greenfield project, and it may happen over some years. Some people's they've got loans to pay, and some people may say my building is going for redevelopment after 5 years or 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. But when you leave that place, please do not go into another concrete structure, because then you're promoting more and more concrete, and the raping of the earth, like I call it. So you need to know, and this entire committees in your state need to understand this. So we are the people only. We are the people. Like I said, the existing people, they are wired to the old system, and that's the only thing they know to manifest. Some of them are looking for good ideas, and people like us who are attending these events should start give them the ideas. And when you go alone, you're not heard. So it's best that you form the committee. Now, who are these committees? Committees are, if you're an expert in your field, then you connect with similar people in, for example, natural food and farming in your state, and get them together, and maybe first online in a Telegram group, and start forming certain policies that you think is the correct policy, and then approach the state or share it with people and collaborate with people to implement it. Now, these next steps and how we will do this in detail and what is the scientific formula, uh, uh, I will be sharing, and we can all ideate over it and improve our model in our group, Earth Keepers Connect on Telegram. Okay, I shared this at the starting, but for some people who have come in later, I will share it once again. So that's the place for all across this country and across the world also. If some of you are from overseas, you can connect. Um, so, so this kind of this is what was there part of the Lace Gaia model. That whether it's India or any other state, some state, okay, maybe it's completely greenfield. There hasn't been any concrete homes over there, so you have 100% a greenfield project in a tiny state. In some states, most states where people are living now in the world, you'll have a combination of concrete jungles and some smaller houses, or some, if it's more to the village, you'll have more natural homes. But it's not one committee for for managing concrete cities, one committee for these other urban places in between, and one committee for green. So you need one committee to take care of everything, all of the natural homes, and because that committee is going to manage the transition of people from out of unhealthy systems for your own health and for the planet into healthier and healthier systems. So, in a previous presentation, Chandra Vikas ji has showed that this entire model of committee of states and all of that across the globe. That's how this entire model is being designed to go across the world. And for those of you who really want to understand more of it and be part of the design, I am inviting you all to Delhi, where we are meeting on in Gurgaon on December 6th, 7th, yeah, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Now the dates have changed because 9th was supposed to be our meeting where on 6th, 7th, 8th we were designing these systems and coming out with one integrated model for village, city, state, country, whole world. Uh, so we were working on that. 3, 4 of our organizations, that is uh, Gaia Sansad, Earthkeepers Connect, Project Yug Parivartan, and Work. And anybody else also who wants to join us, please join us. Any of you who have designs for self-sufficient cities and states, and be in touch with me, and I will give you the details. And we welcome all serious people who really want to start understanding the integrated model and want to know the ropes of how to implement it in their state, because we are the people only who can do it, so we need to start working on it. And there are many advantages in the group that I will share from tomorrow onwards of forming the committees. Whatever pioneers have been trying to do as just 1 or 2 or 3 people in their city or their state, it doesn't influence the political system or the governing system. So you need to be a bit better, bigger in size, and you propose good projects. And if you do well, then you are helping the state and you're helping your government as well. Because it's a fact that even they have got all these problems in their lab, and they are in a fix of how to, repair the damage. But we are the ones who have to go on with our organic solutions and do it in a wonderful way. And the beauty is that you would have understood now by my presentation, the beauty is that the solution is much, much simpler. It is like 10 times simpler than the systems and the thinking that created this 17 miseries on the planet that are called the United Nations, Sustainable Development Goals, that are basically the manifestation of all the problems. These are the symptoms of the capitalist mindset and the way they designed the entire society. And so that's why yesterday's, day before yesterday, the theme of our webinar was the fall of the capitalist and the rise of the indigenous world order. Because this is now understood by people all across the world. The centralized system has, damaged the entire planet, with even the money system being so fake that it's collapsing right now. So everything is on the verge of collapse of the old system. And we have to, with the right sciences, pick up things and do it the right way. So my last slide is, yes, I mentioned before, all of this information you can get on my website, darryldesouza.com. And now I'm open to, we are open to, freely discussing whatever I presented, and please share, new ideas, who wants to collaborate.
Okay, I have a question since I'm there. Can I ask?
Yes, sure.
I just want to know. I mean, number one is it's lovely to know that you're a Goan too, like me. I'm from Panjim, and I just want to know how have you managed to convince most of the Goans who are non-vegetarian, who are all non-vegetarians, and besides the few ones among you and I who are actually vegetarians, vegans, and so on, how have
Yeah.
you managed to convince most of them? And how what has been the feedback that you received? To be quite honest, because I get flack all the time from most of them.
Yes. So who is it? Is it Sunita?
Yes.
Yes, Sunita. Okay. So the main philosophy is that, I mean, that's a fact. It's not even philosophy, it's the hard truth. The hard truth is that people will only do something if you take away their pain. Okay, if you take away their pain, that's when they will do it. Otherwise, they will listen to a 3 hour lecture and applaud you for it, give you an award for it. And when you say in that lecture, this is what how you should also participate in it, they will not go home and do it. Okay. So in health, I only deal with those people who come to me and say, I got a problem. Then I say, okay, so then I'm going to take you step by step into the solution. And I give them something simple first. And then they do it first and they say, oh, that was easy. Then I say, okay, here's step B. Because I give them step A to Z, and then they're saying, oh my gosh, this is too much. But when I try to tell them that this is a natural way, it will reverse your illnesses within 3 to 6 months, and what you've been suffering for the last 6 years, you will not get into that. They understand it scientifically, but then they don't have the patience to do it for 3 months. So then I give them the first appointment. I give them something simple to do. I say you change a few things in your diet, then and do this for 15 days and come back to me or come back after a month. Then the next month I give them something. So that's the key. When first key is that you can only change people who are in pain. Because of their pain, they will change. Otherwise, they don't care a damn. First. Second is that you give them in a nice structured, piecemeal way, in the way that they can take it, and then they do it. Right? You don't give them something impossible to do that they drop in 5 days. So that has been my formula. And I remember even at the first New Earth Summit, when one of the people who were debating on my topics on the food and farming segment, they said, Al, we've done all these, organic farming conferences, and the same organic farmers, come again and again. And there are, maybe 10% of people or 15% are new who come into the, our organic farming convergence meet and all. Uh, then when they learn everything, and after 3 months, we go and see them, 80% of them found it's too difficult. They don't want to do it. So they said, these food and farming conferences are pretty hopeless. Then I said, you are talking to the wrong audience. If you want more farmers, you have to go and do more health conferences that are based on the right kind of diet. So those people, so many of my friends, so many people who are very sick, they had some ancestral land, or even if they didn't have land, two, three brothers got together who were sick, and when they got transformed by food, they said, yeah, food is healing, and they went and became organic farmers. They did not even need to go to some big conference. They said, just give us some small books, some small tips, and within 1 to 3 months, we'll study and we'll start working on the land. So this is another thing. Yeah, people have a pain of sickness, and when you take it away with healthy food, that then they see a solution, and then they understand we need to have better food on the planet, and then they take it up as a business. So so that's what I've seen, as the route that works.
But I've seen that coming to Christmas, where all the sweets start coming out, the Vindaloo and the Shakuti and the all that kind of thing that I used to eat once upon a time and relish once upon a time. I'm saying now coming to this, are they actually aware, especially in the crisis and the pandemic and all this thing? Are they now more connected to? I mean, considering that there's so much of land in Goa, there's so much of prosperity. Why isn't the community more aware of what really is happening around the world? Mother Earth is suffering, and I think places like Kerala, Goa, which have the land and the capability, should take it forward in a far better manner. I mean, I don't know. This is just something that I feel very strongly about.
Right, right, you're right. But again, it comes to that. Now, there are two ways, right? So people will come forward and seek you out if you can take away their pain. That's the first. And second, if it's not that, then you need to have a good community on the ground. if you're doing an organic market and all, like how I was doing the Earth Keepers market, you need to bring put other reasons also for people to land up there. So we have healers, we have some clothes exchange, we have so many body products, and naturally made body products, naturally made household artifacts, decorations. So we make it a good event. So you have to make certain things interesting for people, and then they will come to the market and see all these things, and then they may buy some good food in the bargain. So yeah, we have to use innovative ways. And that project of mine, the integrated natural wellness center being an education center, is also very important, because in the holistic education webinar that we did, all the education that's coming out from the world and the big universities is what has manufactured, this damaged world. So I think presentations like this, or maybe we make a short movie of it because people don't have patience, maybe a 15-20 minute movie where we can actually, anybody can see it. And within 15 minutes, they can say, oh my God, I'm living in the city, I'm eating all these products, and this is how it is connected to damaging the earth to the extent that my children don't have a future. So what am I going to do with these children? How are they going to, so people at least are aware of that, that they know, parents know that every day they work, they earn money, and also that child can grow up and have a degree and get a job. But when they see this, that there is no future for the next 15-20 years, they need to see that clearly. They need to see it in 15-20 minutes. That shocks them, and then they will get into the more detail of it. They'll go and ask some people, is this true, what's happening? So I think that's what it is. People need to be explain these things in a short way, and nobody wants to go for 5 days of lectures and sit in it for 5 hours, 5 hours each time. But I think if we are innovative enough, and people can take a lot of leads from here, like this, 20-minute kind of presentation that I did, if done, with a lot of detail and in a movie with the picture and the wording combined, you can paint the entire picture of what we are doing at the New Earth Summit and other, things also in terms of the problem and the solution. So I think, yes, if there's anybody in Goa, if you want to make a movie on this and make it, hard hitting, and uh, that's another idea. Okay, so get all these things. You have your own experience. Earth keepers have their own experience. Some are so good in permaculture. Some have had, have worked with natural homes. Some have worked with water. Take all of this knowledge and let us work together. Maybe in the, you know, Earth Keepers Connect Telegram group, we can start. One team can start making this movie, because that people love to, watch a movie. So we give them this half an hour movie that has got interesting actors and such beautiful pictures that I sent. You definitely will get more beautiful pictures than what I presented today. So I think that's another idea. We need to do that and kind of putting it down.
I have a question. So it's going to be completely, I actually have two questions. So one is about
Yeah, who's speaking?
Vishwa.
Vishwas, yeah. I request everybody just to mention their name first. Yeah, Vishwas, please.
It's Vishwa, not Vishwas.
Yeah, correct, Vishwas.
So the first question is about ADHD,
About?
attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADD, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So I was in Goa recently, and then there was this guy who just listened into my parents' conversation. Like, we were having a row, me, my parents, and my sister, and it was about me. And this guy comes and says it out loud that your son might have ADD or ADHD.
Okay.
And I have had this conversation with my parents when I was in the first lockdown. And we had a row over it then, even that you're thinking about it in a different manner, or you're thinking from a victim's mentality kind of a thing. Whereas I was trying to find a way of showcasing my experience of the world.
Right.
So is that, like, have you had any experience with helping people with ADD?
Yes, that's a more detailed topic, and yes, it is. It comes from certain faculties. Yeah. There are many things that are happening now with whether the person has had that as a natural makeup of their psyche for many years, then that is one thing. But then there are certain foods and certain environments that are making people, uh, uh, on a short fuse are much faster to think and react and lose interest in certain other things. So you have to see for that particular person whether they have been like that since the last few years or it has been a long-standing, problem. And a long-standing problem would require deeper counseling. And it's not that there is a big sickness that has to be reversed. It is that there are certain, the way, the flow of and the coordination between the mind and your anxiety. It has to be worked on in that way. So it is, yeah, ADHD and all is very case specific. So I would recommend that definitely. And there's a plus part of it. The new kids that are coming who are being classified as ADHD, it's very simple that their intelligence is very fast. When they sit and they look at a situation and they hear a conversation, I mean, they're so quick to pick it up that they already know what you're going to say and they're losing interest and they want to do something else. So that's the attention deficit. And they want to basically focus their mind on something else. So that's new children, if you call them, indigo children or crystal or Blu-ray or whatever. They have a very little interest and tolerance for this old way that we live, this authoritarian way that we live, or this, so many aspects of our current society. They just disconnect, they become cold, and then they will look at something that is making sense to them, something moving around the place, something that they can engage with, which is fulfilling to them and making sense in the here and now. So ADHD is, yeah, got to do a lot with that. The intelligence of the person that's very quick and wants to remain in the here and now. But all of us are used to, old stories and telling all, things we are in the past.
The second thing I wanted to share was something that happened to me during the first lockdown. So I watched this video by Sadhguruji, and it was about water memory. And then he talks about that if you can give someone water with the right intention, you can make it poison or like something that is a blessing.
Yes.
And he told me that he just quoted on a video that you go online, you'll find research articles about it.
Right.
So obviously, a scientific mind, I would like to challenge people's thoughts and ideas. And then I went online and I explored things, and then I got into water memory. So I found 3-4 things. And one of them was Luc Montagnier. He is a Nobel laureate who found the first AIDS virus DNA. So that he got a Nobel Prize in 2004 for that. And he basically questioned the RT-PCR test completely.
Yes.
He has teleported DNA using only vibrations from one country to another country using the RT-PCR test. And it negates how RT-PCR test is actually the mechanism that we understand it to happen. It is completely electromagnetic rather than having a precursor there. So imagining that electromagnetic vibrations can travel so easily now.
Yes.
I was completely confused of what could happen and what could not happen in the world and how disease could spread. Like maybe just using your phone, you could accidentally transfer a virus DNA to another country. That's the kind of conclusions I came to initially.
So yeah, being from the field and having researched all of this, now I just want to share the difference between many of the great names in the world who have gone to the university and who have learned their sciences, seen the mistakes coming out of it, and all of that. So of course that's a brilliant amount of work. But then a person who has never been to the university and can come to the same conclusions independently and explain cause and effect, right? That shows the intelligence of those people is far beyond the university. They didn't need to spend 10 years in that field to understand this. So I would encourage you to download from the Awaken India Movement website, awakenindiamovement.com. Go into the important documents and legal section. There you'll get that document, the truth of the scam. In that, once you read that, it's just a 31-page document. You'll understand about energy and vibration and all of that. So in that, it clearly explains that the effect the resultant effect in the human body, if it is inflammation of the tissues, okay, and it mimics inflammation that is caused by a bacterial infection or a worm or whatever it is, or toxic material. Once it mimics inflammation, then the body starts thinking there is a germ that is under the skin or in the intestines, and the body will automatically increase the temperature, okay, and it will go into activating its immune system. So what I know is that in this summit, we presented two aspects of inflammation being caused to the human body in the lungs, in the intestinal tract, and that came from 5G. And I also shared about the HARP machine. And the HARP machines are there all across the world. There are a couple of them in India as well. And in my presentation, I shared that the frequencies at which the HARP runs, okay, that is 1.5 megahertz to 10 megahertz, that is the same cellular frequency of the human body. And if you run it at that frequency, then you could have at the same, when frequency matches and you increase the amplitude, anything in the radius of that field will start getting a vibration, and when the vibration goes to a high extent, there can be damage. So so that's what I had mentioned in my presentation, that the Indian government really needs to, there needs to be a technical commission set up to verify that these machines, the 5G and the HARP, because they are having these kind of fields, to investigate them, and if they are causing any kind of inflammation to the human body, all these both these systems need to be shut down. So what you're looking at, that in energy, transferring energy, you're transferring vibration. And when that vibration, so I know the science very well, okay, meaning that uh, every part of the human body has got a different vibration. Like the eye, for example, the liquid inside the eye, it's got a certain vibration, certain frequency, and your outer eye and your retina and your iris, they all got frequencies close to each other. Your bone has got heavier frequency. So like this, by using energy and radiation, you can cause a damage to any part of the human body. You could cause somebody's heart, muscles to get a seizure. You could cause clotting of the blood. You could cause brain hemorrhage. You could cause kidney malfunction if you put the harsh frequencies on the kidney. So this is what it is. It is not that actual physical DNA is being transferred. It is that the energy signature is being matched to that particular DNA of, somebody is having a symptom here. I've done all this work. If you research the work of Dr. Hulda Clark, and who had the Clark frequencies, Wright frequencies, and they've also, similar to what Nikola Tesla was teaching. So when you have, if you pick up a certain sick frequency from an organ of a certain person, and then you do not need to transfer the sick cell of that person to another person. You just need to transfer that vibration to the same organ of that person, and they will start demonstrating the same sickness. So this is what it is. And yes, these machines, there are quantum machines that do work across the planet. If you just give me a second, I will show you one of my machines, but it's a crystal. And the crystals are always used as the solfeggio frequencies for healing. They are used by healers. So I'll show you one energy tower. So this is a energy tower. It's over 2 kilos heavy. On top, it's got there is a crystal that's going all the way into it. And there is a electrical connection. It's got Tesla gold coin inside it that is wound around in the center, and this works through intention, and it sends out healing frequencies all across the planet. The only thing is, because the crystals are conscious beings, is that you have to connect with the crystal. We've done healing like this through like this, a Zoom call. Now how I connected with this crystal, this one is labradorite, and the therapist who's in Bombay, he's wonderful, Leo Veloz, and his wife Dan. They are pioneers in this technology. There are people across the world. So they just connected and played certain frequencies of our chakras. through this crystal. And this one resonated more with me. Meaning, I just looked at the crystal, I connected with it like a being, and I opened myself to receiving energy from it. And as they play the frequency, I could feel my crown chakra or my Ajna chakra or my root chakra or my heart chakra vibrating. Little tingle. Okay. So then I would say I'm feeling, this tingling over here. It would take about, 5 minutes or something. And so this is how these things work. The crystals, especially, you need to connect with them. But these other machines that they make, they are not conscious like crystals. They are basically putting out big fields across the planet. So that can be damaging to people.
They're not designed to be responsible about this kind of technology.
Yes, so the capitalists just want to put out any science that they can make money off first. Then they should be able to control people through it. That means through 5G, they'll give you internet faster, this and all of that. But through that technology, they'll make you a slave. They will, put certain frequency that could be damaging to you. And there are a lot of details on that, on the damaging aspects of 5G.
Darryl, to interject, I like to stay quiet and listen to other people. So just one thing that I got from the very first webinar I attended while asking questions is that you have to look forward towards a better world,
Yes.
and that is the intention that we need to have.
Yes, yes. The first thing is that this is a very scientific and technology-driven war. So it's not for everybody to get into the science if it's not their caliber. So those people, who are up to it, they can do that part. Some people will work on health, some people will work on money, some people will work on these gadgets. So those people who are supposed to do the work, they know it. We are not saying that everybody has to get into it. And some people have to go with the flow, hold the energy, and dream of a better world and talk about it. Even dreaming and talking about a better world starts, manifesting it. So yes, so a lot of energy, and that's what I've been saying through some of our meetings online regarding the pandemic and in our chat groups. I'm saying, why are we repeatedly talking of what they are doing? We know it. Why is it being said 20 times on the group? They're doing this, they're doing this. Why don't we say on the group what we are going to do and what we can do? Let's make 70% of the talk of what we are going to do. So that's exactly what you're saying, Vishwa. We have to be with the good ideas, the solutions, and the good energy. From Rajneesh, you can also focus on the huge MRP pricing scam in medicines in India affecting each and every one. Yes, Rajneesh, focus on the bigger solution. That is, we need to move out of this, allopathic pills medicine that is especially for chronic illnesses like high BP, cholesterol, diabetes, and all of that. And we need to move to integrated natural medicine. I've been doing this work for, since 2005. It's been 16 years. And in my WhatsApp groups, I shared today Dr. Biswarup Roy Chowdhury's press conference in Delhi. It was like 1 hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours. It was amazing, where he completely busted, that HIV doesn't exist, and this virus also doesn't exist, and also on the entire diabetes, is curable. As I mean, last year on the five best, people in India who have been reversing, thousands of people on diabetes. They presented last year. I reversed so many people on diabetes. So that's what he was talking about, that Indian Medical Association does not admit that. Maybe they have never ever cured anybody in their lives, or forget diabetes of anything else. That's what he said today. And so they find it impossible. But it was an amazing this. I will share it in our group also. The video is there on YouTube. I'll share that in our Earth Keepers Connect group on Telegram. So please everybody join it. He talked about that and about how dialysis is an entire scam, and people are getting off dialysis, in a few days just by some home treatment, sitting in 40 degrees water. So that's also amazing. He's doing great work. So yeah, we need to get into the natural side of medicine and get more and more people on this side. And but I mentioned certain aspects of allopathy, which are mostly diagnostics, that can always remain. And a lot of allopathic doctors also are realizing now, they are having a conscience and being ethical and realizing that what they're doing is not curing people. So in the allopathic practice, they are also inculcating certain diet and nutrition advice, certain yoga and other therapies. So that's wonderful. In integrative medicine, we have such kind of doctors since 2007 actually. They have been coming on the conferences, they've been collaborating with us. So, so that's, yes, important. Yes, Dr. Susan Raj, could you please tell us a little more about what you're mentioning? Where you mentioned, I have Earth Unit Zero Waste Sustainability City. Could you please share with our
Okay.
audience, Dr. Susan? Good evening. Yes, Dr. Susan was
Okay.
one of our
I had
panelists. I just want to share with everyone, Dr. Susan was a panelist on the New Earth Summit. So I'm so happy that those of you have not heard of before, you will hear her today.
Okay. Thank you, Darryl. Yeah, it's so nice to be with your group. It's so amazing. Yes. And the day I met you, I realized that we all are connecting together because we all have that word called Earth with us. You are with Earth Summit, New Earth Summit unit, sustainable cities. So create a line for sustainable cities in such a way that there will be zero waste. Nothing will go into the environment. We take complete responsibility, not only for our activities and its remains, but also we take responsibility for the diseases. That means people who live in this city, they will not have to die with diseases. Our death will happen only by aging and accidents that also by doing adventure. So we believe that we are in this world as human beings to actually enjoy God's creation, adventure. And in adventure, we need to have innovations and inventions instead of creating the diseases and then having innovation and inventions. So we are not here to have adventure with diseases. We are here to have adventure with the creation of God, and every time face the challenge. So I always tell people that there is no competition. Competition is done with the equal power, and there will be always one person sad and one person happy. But when it is challenge, it is just a different situation where you have absolute power in front of you, and that power tells you, come on, get up and go ahead. There is nothing called losing. Everyone is a winner there, and that is what we are here for. And our competition is over when we travel, when we ran from our father's body to our mother's body with 150 to 300 millions of our our brothers and sisters, we can call, and they could not make it. It was you and me who are the winners, who are unique, who are special, isn't it? So there is no more competition here, no more competition between the medicines, because if we have competition between different lines of treatments, we cannot heal people. And here we come together in coalition and cooperation, samanvay, sangharsh nahi samanvay. So this is what is all about our Earth unit, and it is a city model. And I have created this model for a 500 acre of land. When I heard Darryl talking about 1,000 acres, 6,000 acres, I said, wow, amazing. So it is so amazing to have to be in this group, because I started my this Earth unit journey, dreaming about it since 2008, when I saw the Earthship model of Raymond, I think full name. He is from US, and he's another crazy architect. And I thought that was amazing. So why can't why have we have made a disastrous design in the cities? We have created dams, we have created cities which have a design which really contaminating everything. भगवान की पूजा हम करते हैं गलत कर रहे हैं, because पूजा means पूर्ण जिम्मेदारी. Bhagwan means bhumi, gagan, agni, vayu and neer, that is water. So भगवान की पूजा का मतलब है कि हमें पूरी जिम्मेदारी लेनी है, complete extreme responsibility we have to take for what God has given to us. So amazing. It's such a nice thing to be connected with you, Darryl, with the New Earth Summit. And we are going to really make it a different world. We can. Our grandchildren should say that once upon a time we had some grandparents, my forefathers, they used to make something called waste. We don't know what it is. So
Yes.
that is the day. And they would say, our forefathers, they used to die of diseases. We die of aging and accidents only. So that is the day we need to create for our coming generation. Thank you, Darryl.
Yes, yes. So right, Dr. Susan, thank you so much. And I just remember, I mean, in all of my, workshops that I'd been doing publicly in Delhi, also across the metro cities in India since 2012, somewhere in between my presentations and all, that's what I would say, that, human beings are the only species on this planet who die from sickness. All other species die from old age. And so old age looks like something. It looks like wrinkled skin. It looks like this, that, and all of that. So that would be the opening line of one big lecture for me. Why we are the only species dying due to of sickness. And I said, okay, take out do the postmortem of somebody who's 108 years also. It will show the reasons of death. It will show some heart problem, this problem. If otherwise, I give them the example of that Chinese martial artist who worked, during for the Chinese army in both the world wars, and he died at what, the age of 300 and something, 326. So I said that's the life of the
Wow.
human body. He was a herbalist also. He was a Chinese herbalist and a martial artist. Last day of his life, he was teaching martial arts class, and that you can see the face of a 326-year-old man, and it shows all the wrinkles and all of that. So I said, even in this place, anybody dying below 200 years in this current time, they are dying of sickness. Finished. You challenge me, go and do the postmortem, and you'll get the
Yes.
reason for death. It's not old age. So I'm so happy that you have also been saying the same thing. And there's a comment from a question from one of our attendees, which was my question also. Doctor, where is your Earth ship? We want to come there.
Our ship is on the paper.
Okay.
I need a builder. Somebody
Okay.
has approached me from Gujarat, and he was, as a young boy, he used to dream of the same thing which we had, and we got connected. So we are going to have very soon. We should have a meeting with all the builders, and one of the Telangana minister has taken interest in it. So I have just sent the whole concept to them, and hopefully it should be there somewhere soon. That's what we are dreaming about for a long time. I always say that it is. I am too pregnant with it. It is 30 years of pregnancy. It better deliver it now.
Wow. Yes, yes, definitely. And this is a baby that we all have to deliver together because it's so big. So wonderful. And Dr. Susan, please, I mentioned to you before, but earlier about inviting you to Delhi. And earlier the plan was, I thought I was going in the second week of December, but then because it was not matching with the travel plans of some of our other partners in Delhi, we had to come up with these dates. So please see if you can make it to Delhi in these dates. Do let me know.
Yeah, thing is that I don't do the testing. I don't allow anybody to test on me. I don't take vaccine. I am I know to cure the COVID people. I know to cure the post-vaccine symptoms and all. So I can travel only by bus or by car or something. So it will have to be really big plan for me to come to Delhi. Let me see. But I would love to be there actually. Let's see what we can do about it.
Most welcome, Doctor. Thank you. Climate says another thing, newer, does it or doesn't it matter to know about the actual physical, spiritual dimension of the planet, whether it's flat or, flat Earth or it's a round globe? So, I mean, so far, none of us have, to even as we see this entire whatever cabal, global alliance destruction, still for the solutions, whatever we are presenting in the New Earth Summit is such an important part of it. Of course, there are culture wars, there are clans, there are Freemason, Illuminati, and all. So all of those are being flushed out, and they're coming to light. And there is a political system and a military system that's trying to handle it right now. So yes, even I came across this round earth and flat earth, and both the arguments on both sides. And I thought the main thing is, the easiest thing is, why don't I do some astral travel, conscious astral body travel, and go and see it for myself, and then I can really explain it. So I think that's one of the most useful things you can do now. If you want, I will send you a book that I think astral projection, 100 ways of astral projection. This is not any fake science. I had a full out of body experience in 2010, and it was when a healer was healing me from Pune. I was just lying down on my bed in Mumbai. That is just before I came to Goa, and a full out of body experience where my spirit was at the side of the bed and I could see my physical body, and uh, and I was out for a couple of minutes. And then I knew these things are possible. Before that, I had only read that you can astral travel, and then I used this book and I tried it twice, and twice I was able to come out half of my body. I could not come out completely and leave the room and all. But I think that's the smartest thing. This is what our ancients used to do. Our yogis are still doing it. So whoever is interested in knowing whether the earth is flat or round, please master these techniques. Do some travel, and please let us know.
Darryl,
Yes.
Sunita, I just want to ask you. You mentioned that you use that crystal. I'm very interested in crystals, and I did a crystal. I mean, I have a crystal that I use for my Reiki. So, how attuned has this crystal? Because they say crystals have to be put in the moonlight, and they have to be cleansed, and they have to be charged, and they have to be all this kind of thing. So, I mean, how did this crystal work for you, and why did you choose this particular? I know you said it resonated with you, but how important is this crystal working for you every day?
Yes. So I don't use it every day. I use it sometimes. Now I'm just going back to that what was mentioned earlier about water, right? And what he mentioned about Sadhguru, and then he went and researched Robert Malone. So yeah, the work of Emoto was also there on water, and he has shown the electron microscope crystals of water that when you give it different energy, how it changes. They scientifically proven that, and of course, all of this are there in our Vedas and all. So that's very true. I've seen that because human body is 70% water, and yes, when taking water into your body, you can put your intention into the water. Or even on our program where Dr. Rupa Shah explained so beautifully flower essences, and they were getting the healing, effect of flowers without even taking out the flower. So basically, going into the flowery areas, and they know which are the remedies for whatever, whether it's headache or anxiety. They just pour water on the flower, and then they collect the water from down, and that becomes the homeopathic remedy or the flower remedy, and the flower is still growing on the tree. Okay, so water has got that the super cool liquid of extreme viscosity has got that property. It will retain a charge whatever you put on it. And then I even thought that if I'm so busy at some time, so I thought even if I don't keep the glass of water in front of me and meditate on it, as I'm drinking it, at least I will charge it, and think of it and put the vibration that I want. And so that time when it goes in, at least for a few seconds, that's working. So you can do that if you do not have much time. So yes, so coming to crystals, many of my energy healing friends have much greater experience than me. I don't work in detail with crystals, but I do know a little bit about them. But I know the science of how they work, and they are considered conscious beings. That they pick up the energy from where they are. Okay, they have a capacity of absorbing and retaining memory also, and then giving it out when the right kind of energy is asking for it. So telepathically also you can, if you put a question it's not like words that you say. Of course, words have a feeling, but what we call in India bhav. That means just your, if you just look at a crystal and subconsciously just say, like, what is your energy or what are you made of? It will, not the word, just the idea of it. The crystal may try to give you something. I've got like this taste in my mouth has changed when I'm looking at a crystal and asking it what is its energy. So those are definitely for this, that the asteroid, I mean the meteorite kind of crystals. One is the green one, which is I forget the name right now. Yeah. So yes, so crystals are like that. Just remember the basic. Wherever they are kept, they pick up that energy. So if you're keeping it in a stagnant place, yes, you got to take it. You got to wash it, clean it. So flowing water, moonlight is a cooling energy, sunlight is a strong energy, or your own energy. Okay, so cleaning it and charging it with what energy you want to put in it. That is a regular process for crystals. So all of my energy healing friends, they talk to their crystals, they clean their crystals, they know when which crystal requires more frequent cleaning and all of that. So water, moonlight, all of that, and your own consciousness are all the mediums
Yeah.
for cleaning
Amazing.
and charging.
And for your skin disease, you said that that was your start and where you actually wanted to move towards plant. That was the start of your plant-based journey when you had the skin disease and you avenues. How did it start?
Yes, so my I was having a lot of skin allergies. I was on allopathic medicines, suppressants. Atrax was one of those medicines, and then I was having digestive disorders as well. So the main thing was acupressure made my organs function better, so they could, deal with the toxicity because my with the toxic blood that came from mainly imbalanced gut microbiome and fungal growth in my intestines, candidiasis. So everything that is living, it will eat, your food and excrete something, and that something when it goes high in your blood, it becomes toxic. So basically, it was the acupressure that brought down the negative effect of toxic blood in my body because I did blood chemistry work that time, and the research scientists, not even the normal doctors could put out those blood tests because that was in the year, I think it was 2000 or 2001. The normal blood test, you will do a full spectrum blood test range for 1,500 and all that, and I had to do this, 40 tests that cost me 4,800, and it was a research scientist at Bombay Hospital who doesn't, only does research work. So he found out a couple of components in my blood were toxic, but he couldn't figure out how they should be neutralized. And he had tried for 6 months through chemical medicines to neutralize it, but it did not get done. Then finally, I got from bad to worse and all of that till 2004. And then acupressure and neem, tulsi, bael, tea, the normal tea leaves in my book, Become Healthy or Extinct. I've explained all those things, how to use tea leaves to cleanse your kidneys, that will in turn detoxify your blood, and use all these natural powders, basic Ayurveda. So yes, so the toxicity in my blood. So when your blood is toxic and you sweat, that's when the toxicity comes to your sweat on the skin and you seen as a skin allergy. So even eczema and psoriasis are because of that imbalanced gut microbiome. So wrong kind of microorganisms living in the gut, and when they go higher in number, they create their toxins, which comes out. Um, so that is, yeah, what I had to clean up in my body. I had to clean up my diet, heal my organs, cleanse my blood, uh, cleanse my digestive system, kidneys, liver, colon, all of that. So all these
Wow.
sciences are in my book, right? Become Healthy or Extinct.
You completely and cut out all the dairy and everything.
Yes, yes. I had cut out dairy even before that because every time I used to drink milk, I used to get, loose motions and blood in my stools and anal fissures. And that time I used to wonder what's wrong with my body. And then, a newborn baby can have milk, and is my body, so weak it's less than a newborn baby. And I did not understand the science at that time. But then later, as I researched, and understood about milk, that the human body does not produce the enzymes lactase and renin after the age of 4. So basically, the human body is not supposed to, digest milk, and they call it a disease. In fact, the mainstream doctors, they call it lactose intolerance, but it's not a disease; it's the normal state of the human body. If the digestion enzymes are not there, then your body is not supposed to digest milk. It will have some negative effects. So that's on pages 120 to 125 of my book. Please read it. It's very interesting science.
Wow. Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Darryl. Mayank here again.
Yes, Mike.
So I was just going through the evidence for the pandemic, the scientific evidence.
Yeah.
I was specifically looking for any evidence of suppression of natural treatments or early treatments by the various platforms. And I've heard of or I've seen videos of doctors saying that they were asked to deplatform themselves or take off their content. One case in point being Dr. Joseph Mercola.
Yes, yes.
So is there any evidence that we have collected on the platforms deplatforming natural treatments, early treatments, or alternative treatments?
Yes. So what I would suggest is watch today Dr. Biswal Rai Chaudhary's video, which I will share in the group. Okay. Now, over there he points of the act before independence, what the Britishers put, and as per that act, that you cannot say that diabetes can be cured. If you say that, you'll be put in jail. So these acts were put by the British in our thing. That's why all the Ayurvedic practitioners and all and natural therapists and all, they are not coming out, even though they've cured 1,000 such people over whether it was 1 year, 3 years, or 10 years. You see, so the law is such that has been put in place by this big pharma and by the Britishers that till today, for publicly, claiming any of this, you can be put behind bars. So it's all there in our laws. So, and besides that, he has given other two, three, this also where there was an arrest warrant for him. They issued an arrest warrant for him, and the lawyers were able to get a interim bail application, and he has to appear in court on 15 December. And today he presented that I have the on the website, or I will make available over 1 lakh people that he and his team have reversed diabetes, but it has to be done on a public platform. First of all, I think it was Chandigarh or Hyderabad, one of those AIM, this organizations sent him a legal warning or something. And then when he sent the results back to them, they never replied to him. So they had to keep quiet because he gave them the evidence. Now he said, I'm fed up of giving these paperwork and all. Please, anybody who wants this, please come on a live TV channel, ask me these questions. I'll give you the evidence live so the whole world knows, and you cannot just sit quiet on it. So it's come to that state where he's bringing out all the records of all the 1,000, I think 1,000 plus people who have reversed dialysis without medicines at home, and also all these diabetics. So all of that info is coming out right now. So I'll just share the video with you, and you can get that info.
So Darren, apart from what happened in India, world over also, there is a lot of
Yes.
deplatforming that has happened.
Yes. So I guess all of the doctors, if you go to Dr. Mercola's website, I got that this also because I was subscribed to his, I've been following the work of Dr. Mercola since I think 2012. And yes, so I got to know those, I think almost a year back, where he announced that, they are taking off all of my stuff from my website.
Yeah.
So, I didn't follow up with that, but yeah, I think you'll have to follow up with them to see the real evidence.
Also, I think looking at the community guidelines of these portals, the big tech, the social media, that'll also give some evidence on how they have tried to demonstrate that there is no treatment for COVID, so as to justify the EUA, right?
I would like to add one more thing. The treatment which I do, it is not my discovery. It is discovered by some other scientist, and I happened to get it when I was treating the HIV positive people. So the whole country, as Bolivia, in their parliament took the decision that this medicine will be used in the country, and WHO completely opposed them, but they took a stand because the military stood with them. And today Bolivia has got no death rate due to COVID. because there is a cure. It treats up to the last stage, fourth stage of COVID. So, but nobody wants to talk about Bolivia anymore. And by the way, Darryl, I just, while we were talking, got a call from Brazil that can you join in one of their webinars, and can you call other people who are doing this healing? I was thinking of inviting you and Dr. Bishru Roy there, and we can say that what we are doing in India. So there is absolute cure for COVID. No one needs to die with this. And even after vaccination, the spike protein can be oxidized with this medicine, which is called chlorine dioxide. It is made out of the table salt. So there is cure, and it will come out. Nobody can suppress it anymore. Vishwarupra is there with all the evidences, and the Komusav as a big community there in the world to talk about different types of alternative medicines. And as you know that I have also created Ayushman as one of the group, where we are taking all these pathies together and come work in cooperation. So the time has come, it is here with us, and we should represent it strongly.
So wonderful, Dr. Susan. Thank you for sharing that. Acha, the question is, yes, Vishwa, that Darryl, how do you have such black hair, and what causes white hair? So from what I know, white hair is mainly caused by toxicity in the colon. So it's and yeah, if you're having toxic food, so the small intestine and the colon, need to get cleansed on a regular basis. And that's what I've been doing, detox. So that's why, yeah, I've not never used dye in my life. So I'm 51 now, and the hair is still black. And yes, there's also a treatment in my book for a little at least revive 15-20% or 25% of your hair. In the chapter treatment for illnesses, there is this hair fall. Okay, that chapter gives you all treatments from head to foot. First, it starts with your head and headache, migraine, eye problem, nose, mouth. So just go through that. You'll find that website on my main website, darryldesouza.com. Just look for my book, Become Healthier Extinct. Go to the chapter treatment for illnesses, and give you treatment for hair fall. Yes. Then, okay, any remedies to detoxify if a person has already taken vaccine? I will just share on in the group. I will share one, spike protein detox document that members of Awaken India movement had made. And if Dr. Susan wants to say anything further besides chlorine dioxide, then Dr. Susan, please share.
Yes, chlorine dioxide also does the detox of the spike proteins. I have got my patients coming in with D-dimer high, and a very strange situation called when she went for a test for HbA1c. They said that due to high presence of variant hemoglobin, they could not do this test. So I treated her with the chlorine dioxide. On 5th day she went, and they could do the normal test, and her eye swelling and all have already come down. So now yesterday I got a patient with he just wanted to experience chlorine dioxide. Then I said, without having any problem, you don't know how it will be. So then I found that he was already vaccinated. So I told him, okay, go and get the D-dimer also done. So his D-dimer, he's absolutely healthy, he has no sugar, no nothing. He's just totally healthy man. And the D-dimer came so high, that means his blood has got the clots moving around. So I just started him, and I will I've treated so many like that, but this now I am having this test of D-dimer before and after. So I will show you in next, maybe I told him for take detox for 21 days. And after that, we will repeat the D-dimer and see what is the condition. If he was not tested now, if he did not know it, maybe next few months, he would have just got a heart attack or some brain blockage. So chlorine dioxide also is very nice. Naturopathy is fantastic for that. Electromagnetic therapy is there, and Darryl has got some, he said. So these are the alternative medicines which can actually remove the spike proteins and can save life.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Susan. Okay, so yeah, we've answered all the questions, and thank you, and God bless for attending. And know that the next steps of the New Earth Summit will happen in our Telegram group. So please join the group. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Susan. Have a
Okay,
good
thank you
evening. Have a good
very
evening,
much.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a joint movement. We kind of open source and make the model available so everybody can do it. And this is what we will discuss in the group.